get into the market report, starting off with some interesting stuff, some Spider-Man books here. How about this? A 9/8 Marvel Team Up 141. It is a direct, but I don't care. A 9/8. It has the black suit Spider-Man label on it, which is cool too.
That's
less than $500, you guys. This thing was selling for. This must have been selling for like $2,000 at one point. Within the last 2 years, right? Or more? I feel like this was a crazy high book.
At least $1,000.
Yeah. I feel like this was a crazy, like ridiculously high book. A Marvel Team Up 141 sold for at one point.
Yeah.
I'm checking right now.
So
cool
at
book.
one time they had that tied with ASM 252 and Spectacular Spider-Man 90 or
90.
But then they said 252 was the first, right?
No, they still have it as tied with this.
Oh, they still have it as tied. Okay.
After they kind of like changed their mind once,
yeah,
they're not going to go back.
That purple cover is a pain in the ass, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it was just less collectible.
It just collects spine ticks like a
end of the run.
Man.
Isn't it the last issue or something like that?
So the 90-day average is 587. Last sale was 493, which you're showing. 12-month average is 671, and then 2022 average was 954.
Yeah, it's about $1,000 book.
What was it selling for? Do you have any data before that? You don't have any data back during COVID?
During 2021, the high was 1850.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Now, was that a newsstand?
No, this is direct.
Wow.
Newsstands is still averaging about $1,000 for 9/8, and then the high in 2022 is 1199. In 2023, the high is 1,009.
There we go.
I don't think in 2021 they weren't marking them newsstand yet.
I have that one in a pedigree, from the John Burke collection.
And then, as Richie would say,
hey, it's a 9/6, but it is a pedigree.
And then, as Richie would say, there's a Canadian price variant out there.
Yep, there we go. Miles
I think there's
Morales
too.
Yeah, yep. Miles Morales, a couple Miles books. You've got a couple Miles books coming up also. You got Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man #1, the 1 in 50 Staples variant that people went crazy for. I know in 9/8, I think Bryan Wood, Simple Man Comics, sold a 9/8 for like $3,000, $3 or $4,000 at one point.
I think it was like $6,000.
$6,000. Oh my god!
Yeah, this book is fucking rare, man.
I think I sold my 9/8 for $250. Dude, Brian asked me. I had it on eBay for like $250, $300, and I was like, and he said, "Hey, do you want to sell this off eBay?" And I was like, "Hey, I don't really I don't want to lower the price, but here's another 9/8 for $200." And because I had paid somewhere close to, you know what I mean? And I was like, "Here's a cheap one, dude." And he's like, "Oh, okay." You know what I mean? Which was like a really good deal. So, yeah, I wish I would have sold it to Brian.
Yeah, $6,000.
So my friend can make the $6,000. Yeah. If I ever sell you guys anything for $200 and it's worth $6,000, maybe one beer, life. But like you better sell it. No, take the money and run. Dude.
Yeah, but
don't make me mad, man.
Let me ask Sean.
If I gave it to you for your wedding and you fucking sold it, I might be like, screw you. But
let me ask you,
buy something to win something for me. Bets are off, dude.
You got a ghost right here, okay, with that Miles book. Why is it not graded?
And because it's fucking probably an 8.5.
You goddamn right, baby. Somebody cracked an 8.5. Somebody probably bought a 7.5 or an 8.0 for $300, cracked it open, and doubled their money with a raw book. And somebody's thinking, "Oh man, I'm going to get that graded," and then it's going to come back a 7.5.
What are the other pictures? It's on some kindergartner's desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding, dude.
Right? Did they wipe the crayons and snot off it first?
Yeah, dude.
Well, you got another one right next to it, the Ultimate Spider-Man #1. This is the Pacelli 1 in 30,
Yeah.
726.
Just the one in the middle is like I'm always on the hunt for that. But I
Any of
wouldn't
them.
buy I wouldn't buy that book in the middle raw. Like
Oh,
after all this time, somebody,
Yeah.
hey, I found this. Like, yeah.
Well, I
You just-
guarantee
well, you
there's a
don't-
lot of those raw
don't
sitting
know,
in
man.
people's. Yeah, there's a lot of those raw sitting in people's collections that just don't know.
Mm.
Dude, I pre-screened. I was pre-screened like 40, 50 Ultimate Fallout 4 variants for somebody that only wanted 9.8. They only wanted 9.8s graded, and at the time, that's what it was worth.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact other people bought those books that I'd still pressed them and ended up with 9.8s. But I only had them grade the tap-ins. So it just, I don't know. It depends on the era. It depends if it's a comic seller. I definitely would love to see the pictures and see the person. Like, to me, if you see me selling that, you'll see 20 pictures.
Mhm.
If I think it's a 9.4, if I don't feel like sending it in, if it's got color rub that honestly I'm not sure about, whatever. Me, I'm still gonna 9.8 pre-screen it, or something like that. I'll try to figure it out. And that doesn't mean everything I sell is near mint. It means I just might not feel like grading it. But that book, I'd probably feel like grading.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Ultimate Fallout 4s, the Djurjevic, here's 2 sales this last week. You got a 9.6 for 8,100, and then a 9.4 for 3,400.
Well, that
So-
9.4 is like, that would be a buy for me. Like if I saw that. God, $3,400.
It's
God
really
damn,
dropped, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, Sean, would you crack that open, Sean, that 9.4 and say fuck
Yeah.
it?
I'd have to look at it, but most likely.
Yeah.
You gotta try. But I'll
At
tell you what,
least,
they're
right?
definitely gonna give definitely give the best books a better look over.
Mhm.
My more expensive books are less likely to slide through a 9.8 pre-screen than books in worse condition that are worth like $100.
Yeah.
So
That's another great point. Yeah.
I don't know what to say. They're probably like, this motherfucker comes up, call me, right? Put this to the side.
Yeah. Well, Edge of Spider-Verse 2, another big, probably the and when everybody talked about the Miles, Djurjevic, they also talked about the Edge of Spider-Verse 2 Greg Land. And then there's a 9.8 that sold for $4,100, almost $4,200 this week. So there you go. What was the high on that? That was a $8,000 book, right?
Which one?
The Land Spider-Verse 2.
Close enough.
Yeah.
I just looked up the high on the 9.4 Djurjevic variant. For this year alone, the high was $8,500.
That's what I'm saying.
Ow.
Yeah, and then it's been steadily declining since then. Like it
A
dropped down to
9.6 sells for that now. You know what I mean, or less than that.
Yeah, and
I think-
like it dropped down to 4,500 in April. June is 5,000.
When does the game come out? Did the game come out already? The Miles game?
No,
On PS?
No,
I don't think so. But I think they're releasing more playable gameplay footage. I think.
Yeah, I think when that game comes out, like you'll see it like a resurgence in Miles books.
Wilbert
Well, they
saying
also-
12K on that Greg Land. Wow.
and then what they have that PlayStation 5 console coming out.
Yeah, Thorough picked one of those up already. Dude.
Okay, then Miles game already came out, says Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, the Miles game has been out. You're talking about the Spider-Man 2, the sequel where he gets the symbiote.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that's what we're
Yeah.
talking about.
Well, like when did it come out?
I don't think
hasn't
that
come
game's
out.
out yet.
Huh?
D-backs won. Hell yeah. That's what I'm
Here, I will
fucking
get
talking
it.
about.
Dollars.
Hell yeah, dude.
Because
Party
I
in
talked
Phoenix
to Thorough
tonight.
last week, and he had the console, but you couldn't play the game yet, or some bullshit like that.
Comes
I'm
out on
looking
the
up right
20th.
now.
Comes out on the 20th.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. 12K. Prices are just, it's unbelievable. If you wanted these books, it's time to start thinking about them. If you got a couple grands put aside, but you know what? At the same time, I don't know if I have a couple grand putting aside. Are you putting it on comics? You know what I mean?
Man, like Jurjevic variant though, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a Michael Jordan 86 Fleer right now, right?
Well, check this out. People thought that way about Spawn 306 Netherrealm, and now you can get a 9.8 for $690, baby.
Wow.
Hey,
You can get a 9.8 Netherrealm for what you'll pay for a 227 1 in 25.
Yeah, I'll take 227.
Yeah.
There's the other. Oh, you know what's not bad to me is that Spawn Puppeteer.
Yeah.
There's only 1,000 of them, which means.
Really?
Because there's only 1,000 of all those books at San Diego.
Wow.
And so that's it. I mean, shit, I got at least 4 of them.
I like the
And
new
I got
Puppeteer cover that's coming out.
Two 9.8s. I like that book, and it's worth. It's back down. It's down around 200 for a 9.8, or even less. And I think people are just sort of forgetting. But I think Puppeteer is only going to get more popular, and I think that book's going to do well. So honestly, if you're under $200, if I'm anybody going to buy one, I think I sold one in 9.8. I think I've got the other on eBay for 300. To be honest, I'm not selling for under 200 at all. So some people are coming down, or some people have new ones, you know. But I mean, that buy-in was like, the buy-in on that set was, I don't know, $100 for all 4 books or something like that.
That was even more than
1,000
that.
printed
More,
each.
yeah.
So that's including grading, you know.
Yeah.
You got to try to sell the other blanks on their own without the Puppeteer. I don't know.
Well, it's nice to see these Spawn. I think that these Spawn homage books that he was doing back then is what set off the homage variant craze.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the OGs that will always be, you know, worth a little bit of a chunk of change. They're very hard. Those black and whites, those 1 in 25 black and whites, those are tough. Really, really tough.
Yeah. People didn't catch on for a little while, though.
Those are tough to press, too.
Yeah. The way a lot of my spine takes. And the other thing with those, people didn't pay that much attention, man. I was finding those in the stores. Not the sketch variants, but I was finding the regular covers in the stores. And not just the Mitt Romney. But I was finding basically all of them in stores. They weren't that hard to find, and then they kept going, and people started picking them up. And when I noticed them pick up, man, I was with the Forgotten Five guys, so it's Dino, Tony, and Scott and I. So we're walking around Baltimore. We're asking. We bought the whole con out.
Oh yeah,
whatever they had, graded whatever I thought, whatever we thought were 9.8 worthy at the time, because again, you're not going under 9.8 back then. And just have done well with them generally over the years. I slowly graded a bunch, slowly sold a bunch of them, and you definitely don't see them in back bins. But like day 2, they got dealers go, "Wait, you got those books?" There's guys that are walking around that are literally buying every copy of those. And I was like, dude, they're awesome. And then I think you're right, Brian. It's maybe we caught on to the homages starting to show up and catch on with the Phantom variants and things like that. So, yeah.
Well, and that's part of the whole like Spawn low print run of them run.
Well, here's
definitely
another one of those Spawn low print variants.
237, man.
Yeah,
that thing's really tough.
Yeah, somebody got one for a 9.6 for $294.
That might have been, was that like Phoenix Con or something like that though? That might have been. I can't remember. I'm not positive that was on the shelves.
Yeah. And then the McFarlane, I call this the fake variant, right?
Yeah.
The one that pissed him off.
He won't sign them.
Yeah.
Is that 1 in 500 or 1 in 1,000?
The sketch is 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 2,000.
Okay.
Because there's a color version too, which is either 500 or 1,000.
Well, you can get a 98 for $335 now.
Okay, yeah. So then the color is probably the 500, and then sketch was 1,000. I think 1 in 1,000.
Yeah, something like that.
A rare Neil Adams Spawn or a Daredevil variant, Daredevil #1 from 2011, the 1 in 75, sold for $600 raw this week.
Okay, that's one that, to be honest with you, I never knew about.
Yep. That's a super ghost.
Yep.
I knew it existed. I definitely knew it existed. I had no idea that it sold for that much money, and I'm going to check my Daredevils because this shit happens sometimes.
Yeah,
I get very lucky.
Next we've got, this is fucking crazy to me. X-Men Annual 14, the real first appearance of Gambit, signed by Art Adams.
Wow.
9/8 signature series, sold for $330. And
Wow.
I get it, and difference between a newsstand and a direct, you can say that, I guess, but you add that autograph in there, that's another thing. An Uncanny X-Men 266 newsstand 9/8 blue label sold for $2,125.
Incredible.
I love that by Adams as well.
Yeah.
I mean, makes it's obviously his cover, but
there was a while where that X-Men 14 was selling pretty high too, man.
Yeah. It was upticking in price. I mean, it's lucky. A solid argument. Yeah,
Somebody
it's a solid
scored.
argument too. Yeah.
Like, there's a resurgence with Gambit. Like, a lot of people have been sending me Gambit books to press. I mean, I'm just like, they're looking for meat on the bone, and like Gambit's the one thing out there that nobody's really done anything with. And the rumors with Deadpool, him coming out,
Well, his prices have always fluctuated depending on the rumors that are out there.
Yeah, it's a good cover. Man, I sold my 9/8 for $800, and it sold overnight for 9/8 newsstand. Oh. And I don't think it copied. I didn't even want to really sell it, but it was part of my moving, house money, COVID bullshit. Yeah. And a 9/8 hadn't sold for, I don't think, more than like $425. And I don't even know if it had differentiated on GPA or anything like that between regular newsstand. And I was like, all right, $800, somebody wants to pay me. Sells the next day. And I was like, you know what? No wonder it took me so damn long to find one of those. Because I was the only one looking, but yeah.
Well, that Space Ghost book next to it is fucking cool as hell, man.
Yeah.
That's a cool book.
Looks nice, man. High grade, still like looks like it's got a lot of color still on that. Good.
I want to know if Lance, if you're watching this, let me know if you got that Space Ghost IP on that Gold Key stuff, man. Because if the Gold Key guys that are putting out the new Gold Key stuff have Space Ghost also, ooh.
Nice. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, dude.
Did they get the IP? I was thinking they just got the Gold Key name.
Well, they got a lot of the IPs that were still on the Gold Key stuff. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Glad to hear that.
But I don't know if they got all of them. I don't. But they're doing the some of the old school. I imagine they got some of the old school cartoon. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? We'll have to. I'm gonna try and get Lance on to a show here soon, so we can talk to him about it somehow, some way. Okay, he says no, they don't have Space Ghost. Jesse James says no, they don't have Space Ghost. That's a bummer. Damn.
What about Scooby-Doo?
I doubt it.
Isn't that DC now? Yeah. Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
Because of all the DC or the Scooby-Doo apocalypse stories and all that shit.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah. Next, we've got there was a lot of rare Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics that sold this week. But this is one that I always love, the Hammerhead cover, the Volume 4, Issue 30 Mirage, tough to find Mirage book. This is when, what's his name, Laird was basically sending Mirage books out of his garage, right? You had to like be on a list to get them, if I'm not mistaken. That's why these things are so rare.
Basically, they sell them later on their website.
Yeah.
So 30, 31, 32 are pretty freaking impossible.
Yeah.
The later issues are impossible anyway. Anything over 20, but especially I think 25 to 29 are really tough and high grade.
That's the one you guys used to talk about all the time on Unpressable Defects, right? Or Trey?
Any of these 30, 31, 32 is like a weird. Which one? One of them's got Casey drinking a beer at like a poker game.
Mm-hmm.
Then 32 is one of them in a Peter Pan looking outfit with like on a log in a forest, gonna fight, looking Robin Hood style. Some shit. It's kind of terrible, but it's worth good money, just because it's so damn rare. I think they're limited to 1,000 and they're randomly signed.
There's a lot of really cool rare Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books out there for sure.
Absolutely.
Just go to Recalled Comics and you'll enjoy it. I'm telling you. There is this is something I wanted to. I hear there is a recall that I saw on Recalled Comics the other day. That was pretty funny. That I'll be talking about soon on some show. So I'll just leave that here. Sandman No. Old school.
Oh, okay.
Sandman 75, the second print, another super tough book. A 9.8 sold for ridiculously low for this book, $1,000.
Yeah, no, that's the one that I was talking about. That
the
Sean
Sandman.
Yes. And Trey.
Yeah. Back in the day, this is a Doc Joe. Doc Joe's been looking for this book for a while.
He said he lost it. He lost this by $20. He was bidding on it.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he said he bid 1,031.
Wow.
Joe, if you're there, tell us. I don't think that's private. I don't think anybody cares.
No, he said earlier in the live chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting, dude. That's very interesting. All right. If I was to ever own a Star Trek book, this would be probably the book. And the fact that this sells for less than $300 is pretty amazing. Star Trek, the Tribbles variant cover, photo variant, with Captain Kirk holding all the Tribbles, and it's signed by Shatner, a 9.8.
By the trouble with Tribbles, dude.
Trouble with Tribbles, brother.
I mean, how much shit would you get if you bought a Star Trek book?
That's a cool
not that
one,
one, dude.
Yeah. I'm not gonna give you shit if you buy that one.
If with Shatner on the cover, zero shit.
Yeah. How about this? How about Bloodstone number 198 selling for $355?
Oh wow,
it's only down $650
or more.
Yeah, they're already.
Well, you think that's bad? How about that Star Wars Clone Wars number 1 out of 1,000 variant for the Dark Horse variant, 9.8? That was a $10,000 book, right?
I thought that was like a $15,000 book.
Yeah, there we go. Jesus.
But I mean, I'll double check right now.
That book is I'm pretty sure it sold for as much as 12.
Now, like when you say that, was there like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, 9, 10 sales of $10,000 or more, or was there that outlier sale of maybe 1 or 2 times it sold for 10 grand or 15 grand? You see what I'm saying?
That's a great question.
Like if it only sold once or twice for $10,000, does that make it a $10,000 book? Just because it sold once or twice, right?
Okay,
to me, if it's a consistent like 20 sales and all 20 of them sold for 10 grand, in my opinion, then it's a $10,000 book. Not one sale makes it a $10,000 book. Like that's where we get into this fucking problem of finding out how much a book is worth, because you guys know there's a lot of shady shit that goes on. There's a lot of people that dump their books for different reasons. So if this book is dumped at 48, that doesn't make it the price just because this one sold at that price.
Okay, so The one that sold before this in September sold for $6,100. The high for this year is 9,244. The closest sell to that was 8,000. The high in 2021 was 16,000. The high in 2022 was 12,500.
What was the high in 2019?
The high in 2019 was $750.
Right.
Oh,
and then in 2020, the high was 5,000.
Okay.
So it makes it like a top 10 modern.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So Aaron said the high in 2020 was $5,000.
Was $5,000.
Okay. So and this one 4,800. So is that the correction you were talking about, Brian? Is like a lot of these books are going back to 2020
prices. Yeah. It's amazing, dude.
But that's where I don't understand. Like, if one book sells on eBay, and we look at it, damn, it sold for $3,000. Does that make it a $3,000 book?
That day it does.
Yeah, I mean, I get you, but like, don't you need to get a consensus of like other platforms, like on Comic Link, or I mean, and put it all together to get fair market value?
Well, fair market value is an interesting word, because what Chad Cave is saying, that the market is always a wave, is true. The market's always moving. So you have to look at an average of sales, I guess. It's hard to find fair market value on a lot of collectibles anymore. But you should know. You should have an idea of where most stuff is going to sell, within a couple on this stuff within I don't know, man, you'd think at least a couple $100, but man.
So the year that it sold at $16,000, right? The one that sold before that sold for $12,500. And the one after the 16,000 sold for 12,500.
There we go.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I mean, but would you call that year? Would you call that like a $14,000 book or whatever? Because of the average of those three sales.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, people were throwing down money at that time for books, and absurd.
This is a rare book too. I mean, it's a tough book to find. So. How about the Amazing Fantasy D23, Amazing Fantasy number 1000, the black and white variant that was limited to 25. Sean, didn't you pick one of these up with Heartless?
I had the original one.
Wow.
Okay.
That's 2022.
Okay.
So I can't tell you what the original was, but there was only 25 of those. It was the same thing. It's 25 with the COA. Threw it on eBay, negotiated with the guy off eBay. Heartless came up just out of nowhere with somebody that happened to have been there and was able to just somehow pull one. So Heartless somehow gets one. I end up getting the he wants me to help him sell it. I help him sell it. Find a guy that buys big books, and I want to say it was like 8,500 sold it for.
Wow.
And there wasn't another one, and I remember it was a while ago. I remember, dude, I got a lot of hate because that was when we had like facts going on and shit.
Yeah.
So they got real mad because I put it up, $15,000 or $20,000. Fuck am I gonna do? Put it up for $12?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The first time the mouse is with the Avengers.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, there's 25 of these, and it was a super secret book. So I threw it up for that. I threw in that included getting it graded for the guy and their prestige style, trade paperback. So it was square. Heartless sent me a million pictures. He's in Boston, so I really didn't want to mail it to me. If we could decide, he's like, I can't find anything wrong, and I'm with the prestige format. I'm with him on it.
Yeah.
Sent the guy the pictures, did the thing. I filled out the form, send it to CC, send it to the guy. Came back 9.8, as we thought it would, and so that was
not bad.
Oh, dude, I'll tell you what, it's my best flip for never touching a book. I'll tell you that. I didn't even see the motherfucker, and I made like $4,000.
Nice.
So
Next, we've got Tough Red Hulk cover, and Red Hulk is going to blow up again. I'm telling you, once those first trailers come out with showing any glimpse of it, Red Hulk books are going to blow up again. This is the Marvel Hulk. This is Hulk number 16, the Ed McGuinness 1 in 200 variant. It's sold for $312 raw. So, Over the Garden Wall. Yeah, it's a tough book. Over the Garden Wall has always been one of those books that has always, those rare independent things, And here are two Cartoon Network. I think, did Cartoon Network publish this? I can't remember who published this. But you have Volume 3 and Volume 4 here of Circus Friends, $499. And here's the crazy thing. All right. Book that we've talked about many, many times on this channel and in this community. Oh, my God. Please don't tell me I closed those. I think I did. I closed them all.
Damn it! No, just
yeah,
one.
I know, right?
I thought it was funny. Anyway.
Yes, Reef, the
Well,
C, but do you have the second print? That's the real question.
I can go with the time I got one. Because I got one. So I got one off MCS that they had for like $1.
Oh, shit.
And they just listed it as a second print. And I used to buy them because I liked Tim Drake. And it was I could always make it. I would run these in auctions. And often they end at like $5-6. I didn't care, but I put together. When I do auctions, I don't do this as much anymore. I do auctions on eBay and I put together names. I'd buy a low grade Amazing Spider-Man 300 to try to, that I'm probably going to break even on, but try to draw attention to my auctions anyway. So Batman 457 was one of those books. So they sent me this. So for $1 or $2, I got this book, didn't see it off MCS, had no idea, about shit my pants when I opened it. It has new Robin issue. It's got the date on there, and I'm like, "This is it, right?" Mm-hmm. Second print newsstand, almost impossible book. Pressed it, got a 7.5, which was only a couple on the census. Sold it for $1,200.
Nice.
And so that's definitely one of my So tonight we're just showing some of my better flips, or kind of, but yeah, that was crazy. And on MCS you can see all your old sales, but I don't know if I can see that one, but I can probably see what I was paying for those. I think it was $1, seriously.
So this is the crazy thing. That book is so hard to tell what it is, right? But it doesn't have the It doesn't have the little second print thing up in the by 457. You have to open up the book to look, and it says second print right there on the next to the Warner Brothers sign on the bottom there.
Here's another way to tell too. If you look on the cover, on the front cover, it says the new Robin at the top.
New Robin issue.
Yeah. So the first prints don't have that.
Yep.
Good call. Or the second print, right?
Well, the second print's right here.
Yeah,
the second print newsstand.
Second prints are the only ones that say new Robin.
Oh, okay. It doesn't say that on the third print, right?
It doesn't say that on the first print.
No, but the third print, does it have new Robin issue on the third print?
Is there a third print for this?
I believe there is.
No.
Not a newsstand.
I thought there was.
Not a third print newsstand.
Oh, okay.
This is a second print newsstand.
Yeah, second print newsstand. It's fucking impossible.
But there's also second print directs, so you gotta look for that.
Yeah, they're definitely second print directs. 457 newsstands. So direct newsstand, direct reprints, and reprint newsstand. So you have to say new Robin issue, and it has to have the barcode.
Got it.
Right. With the date on it, and it's that one. And it just now there's more of them. There's definitely more of them out there than there was when I found them, and also when I got them, they had just. I definitely sold mine fast when they listed. I want to say it's like 2 or 3 9.6s on the census right away, and then it turned out that was a mistake. But I'm clearly not going to bitch about selling it for like $1,200 or whatever. So that was not a complaint on my part. But I was like, okay, I'll take this money before these 9.6s hit the market. They took those 9.6s off the census. Now they could be there now, but I'm literally talking about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that shit, man. That shit was crazy. That was a major book back then, man. That was a big freaking deal. All right. Let me continue here. We got all kinds of goodies coming up, you guys. All right. 2 major books sold for Black History, I guess you would call it. EBON #1, the very first Black superhero starring in a comic book. This is from San Francisco Comics in 1970, and $1,732 for a raw copy of this. And then the same week, Black Man Leader Comics Group, Black Man #1 sold, and it says uncirculated, but it sold for $365.
So I pressed I think a 9.6 copy for what's his name? Art by
Fitz.
Fitz? Does he have of
Fitz.
Black Man or EBON?
Yeah, no, a Black Man.
Okay.
I pressed the 9.6 for him. It was probably the best copy I'd ever seen. And then I pressed another one with my uncle's shop stamp on the. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that
was
story,
last
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
I said, man, it's crazy.
Well, I think that EBON one is super cool, man. If there's anybody out there that lives in the Northern Cali area, I think Golden State Comics lives up there. I want to know if you got if anybody's ever like found those digging in the San Francisco area, because that's a cool independent book. They're both independent books. They're super cool, both super cool. And speaking about super cool, the Promise Collection is right up there with, you know, if you're gonna get something super cool, the Promise Collection is right up there. And there's a Marvel Tales 95. It's only a 5.0 coming from the Promise Collection, but still, it's a Promise Collection book, and
it's a
3,000.
badass cover, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen those black pedigree labels in person?
In
No.
person, I haven't.
I finally saw one at I went to Bedrock Comic-Con this past weekend, and someone had some pedigree. I don't remember which one, but it wasn't Promised Land. But I saw that label up close. I was like, oh, this really pops. Like, it looks nice. I almost bought it just because.
Yeah,
like,
just to have it.
Just to have a pedigree book. Like, I don't think I've ever owned a pedigree book, but like, to see it in person, I was like, I was impressed.
Yeah. Golden State Comics. He says, I guess I have an assignment then. I'd love to hear history on that book, man. If you got any long-term comic shops that might have history on that book, I would love to know about it, man. That's super cool. All right, moving on. Some toy stuff.
Oof.
We were talking about Night Force 2-packs last episode. I think Clutch was talking about it and how rare they are. Somebody who was a huge Night Force collector dropped a ton of graded and mint on card copies of the Night Force figures. Here you got an AFA 85 repeater and Charbroil. It sold for $1,025. You have an AFA 90 Sneak Peek and Falcon. It sold for $1,300. You have a CAS 85 Night Force Tunnel Rat and Psych Out for $1,700. You have a CAS 85 Outback and Crazy Legs for $1,325, and then the creme de la creme, in my opinion, of Night Force figures, and a top 5 Joe, in my opinion. The Night Force Shockwave figure is such a great figure, and here's a mint on card version with Lightfoot. An AFA 85 sold for $1,600.
It's crazy.
A raw version, just a raw version of Night Force with just two with his guns, not his backpack, sold for $200. Such a cool figure, dude. Speaking of rare Joe figures, we got more. We got these are the UK Europe exclusive Tiger Force figures that they did, color waves, out in Europe. And these are so crazy, and I've never owned any of these. I want them all. These are different color paints on all of them. So you've got the Outback figure, the Tiger Force Outback, which is badass, for $282. These are all loose, by the way. The Spirit figure, which looks amazing, for $292. The Tunnel Rat figure for $258. This one blows me away every time I see it. Blizzard is usually all white, obviously. He's in snow. Mm-hmm. Why would you go out in the snow in a yellow uniform? So
it's called the 90s.
Yes. Yeah.
No, yeah. Dude. So if you get helicopter dropped on a snowboard and you land in the fucking, you land in the snow, maybe they can find you, dude.
If the sun hits just right, you know.
Sold for $316. You have the Mutt and Junkyard figures, sold for $320. And then some rare G.I. Joe convention figures also sold. You have the 1992 Tripwire figure. And I love these because they came out during the time when G.I. Joe had the huge guns. And I forget that Viper figure that had the biggest gun. But you see that biggest gun usually reprinted and put in these convention exclusives. And that's what you get on a lot of these. So you got the UK Blades. They call them Blades in the UK for that figure. You've got the Moon Dancer figure, which was Short Fuse in the United States. It's Moon Dancer, and they gave him a gray body paint on that one. You've got the Scarlet figure that they called Quarrel over there, and they gave her a gray body paint. And then you've got the holy grail of UK figures for a lot of people, which is the Stalker figure, which is just Snake Eyes with a massive gun. It's the first, it's a repaint with a little bit of gray and silver on the V1 Snake Eyes. Sold for $243. And then they call this figure Dolphin. So it's, I don't know if that's right, but it's Zap and he's gray. So that sold for just under $200. One of the figures that we always talk about that's super rare is the Steel Brigade figure. That's the figure that you can make your own G.I. Joe, and they have the gold head and the green heads ones. The gold heads ones sell for a ton. But this blew me away to see one of the patches, just the patch that came with it, sold for $255. And it's not in the greatest condition. And then one of the greatest G.I. Joes ever made was the 1989 version 2 of Stalker, because he was like an Arctic warrior at this point for some reason, and he came with this badass kayak, and the kayak had a place where you could put this huge machine gun on, and this machine gun was so badass, and this figure came on a regular carded figure, and it looked so badass. Me and my brother bought one of these every time that we could. If they were there, we would grab one. I probably have 5 of these.
I thought that was modeled after like the bad guys in Die Hard 2. You remember when they...
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm. It's $305 carded, which is very cool. And then finally for the G.I. Joe stuff, you've got the Mail Away Hardtop figure, which came with the crawler, which is the big G.I. Joe space shuttle. It came with the astronaut and the guy who ran the crawler. And both those figures are super rare. Here's a bagged mail away version of it for $317. And then an original Ninja Turtles Ooze slime canister from 1989. Yeah, $305 it sold for.
I don't know if I had that or only the Motu Ooze slime.
Probably,
obviously.
Yeah, probably the.
I probably only had the Motu because I had,
Yeah.
It's the guy that bought that case like a while 10, ago. 20 market reports, Yeah. He's breaking off pieces of the brick, but
smart.
The only ooze I remember having was the Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
That came with the house that threw down the middle. Yeah.
Started all off with Masters of the Universe, like Sean's saying. And the original with the Snake Mountain, was it Snake Mountain that had you'd put the ooze through and it would come down on.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That was the shit. I think that was my first introduction to slime. It's funny because kids have been bringing it back on and off. I've seen it shows because there's like, I guess it's not that hard to make.
Yeah,
I
right.
went to Masters of the Universe, the little Power Con, and there's literally a little girl there selling slime with their mom.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
it was like it was weird because
up.
she's out of place. There's no like chocolate ninja sword vendors or fucking insurance or car garages or DirecTV or anything at that con. But there's one little girl with a little bit just trying to sell some slime. You know, I'm sure they lost money, but her mom giving her that experience is awesome.
Yeah. Another super rare Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure is the Chrome Dome figure, Warrior Chrome Dome figure. And here's a loose version of it with all the accessories it looks like for $520. You've got maybe one of the grails of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figures. This is the 1993 Chef Boyardee Shredder figure. It's sealed. It sold for almost $1,000, $970.
Wow.
Yeah. And then another super rare Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figure is the Rocksteady Robot figure. And there's one loose for $310. And speaking of Masters of the Universe, two of the rarest Masters of the Universe figures are these UK spin figures, Twistoid and Rotar. And here's carded versions of both, sold for almost $6,000. So one of the greatest stories that I love to tell all the time is the story about going to when I first moved to Phoenix, and my uncle came and picked me up, and we took the Phoenix bus system up to the Metro Center Mall, and I went in and did all the cool shit at Metro Center. Back in the day, it had a skating rink, it had like a little hidden like bar alley place, it had a arcade, and it had a Lionel's Playworld, or not a Lionel's Playworld, yeah, Playworld, I think, inside. And my uncle bought me this Superpower Cyborg and the Powers of the Force Han Solo and Carbonite, both being two of the rarest figures in each drop. And here you can see the Cyborg figure carded, sells for $1,350. DC Direct White Lantern Batman. I always collected the cool variants on the Batman figures. I like the one that came with from DC Direct. That was the Superman Batman run. That was like a glow in the dark Batman. I love this White Lantern one. I could never find the White Lantern one though. It's a con exclusive from WonderCon in 2011, and here's it sold carded for $247. And then, you know, here's a perfect example of why I love that like see-through glow-in-the-dark material that they use. I just bought one of my favorite custom action figures people is Black Major. He does G.I. Joe. I just bought a version 1 Storm Shadow see-through figure that glows in the dark, and it looks like this when it glows in the dark. And I love this type of...
What'd you pay for that?
$8 a piece for those Storm Shadows.
No shit.
Yeah. This Toy Story Buzz Lightyear clear green talking Disney store figure from 2002 sold for $1,225 loose.
And that was just for display, right?
Uh-huh. I don't know if it was just for display, but it was displayed there, so.
Yeah.
We've been talking about the Revenge of the Jedi stuff lately, and 2 more Revenge of the Jedi proof cards sold. Actually, a bunch of proof cards sold from Revenge of the Jedi this week, but these 2 I thought were cool. You got the Yoda and the Princess Leia. The Yoda sold for just under $2,000, $1,950. It's graded in AFA 70, and the Princess Leia is an AFA 85, and it sold for $3,550. They're both unpunched, but the AFA 70 looks like it has a little bit of a crease or a tear in it. So
I think people are sitting on these. I think there's people that have a bunch of these out there.
The proofs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. Speaking of Revenge of the Jedi, one of the coolest things was when they put out the at San Diego Comic-Con in 2011 for one of their exclusives. They did the Revenge of the Jedi Death Star set, and it had a bunch of cool figures in it, famous figures. This whole set sold for $1,800 this last week.
Damn.
Yeah. Speaking of Star Wars card backs, these are two Star Wars card backs. One is the Power of the Force Anakin, which is a rare figure. And then the other one, I can't see what the other one is.
Is that the rebel guard?
Is the Rebel Guard
on Andor, the Andor guard?
I can't tell. I for some reason I just can't see it very well. But they sold for $370 and they're used, like they were torn off, you know.
That's nuts.
Speaking of rare foreign variants, how about some two Star Wars figures from Mexico, baby? How about some Mexican Star Wars figures? You got Yeezee and Yoda, both little
Yeezee.
Doesn't Yeezee look a little different than the original Yeezee? Maybe I'm wrong. Yeezee had a cloak. Maybe that's what it is. He had a cloak.
Didn't he have like the 3 eyes that
Yeah.
extends out for
Yeah.
I don't remember the long sleeves, but it looks like all the figures like that.
I thought he had a cloak, yeah. Well, there you go. Those Little Letty figures, even loose, sell for a lot. And you guys have seen the Little Letty and the Palatoy weapons sell for a shit ton. All right. Speaking of the holographic Star Wars figures or hologram figures, this is another San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from 2022. It's the Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Fighter, the hologram version, an AFA graded 9.0, sold for $1,200. And then this makes me happy. My all-time favorite game is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. It's just such a great game. And I saw that Nerdy Girl was putting up like an AFA or a WATA 85 or a graded version. She wanted like $15,000 for it. And I was like, man, I'm never going to get one of those. And then I saw this. You can get a CIB Link to the Past for $200. Hell fucking yeah. I will be trying to find a nice one soon. But some of you guys out there might remember these. They were before CDs. They were before tapes. They were called 8-tracks. And here's a Beatles Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band 8-track, sealed, sold for $308.
That's awesome. Nuts, right? Still sealed, man. Son of a bitch.
My aunt still has a 8-track player for your car, still sealed in box.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is cool as shit, man.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like a time machine type of deal.
So this is not the craziest ticket of the night. We got more crazy tickets to talk about, but Beatles ultra rare 1965 Hollywood Bowl unused full concert ticket sold for $5,766.
I missed my chance to see the Beatles, but I sold the ticket for $5,000 like way after this.
Right? That's crazy. The Michael Jackson the Michael Jackson 1988 was it 1988 when he caught his hair on fire for the Pepsi stuff, for the Pepsi tour?
No, that was 84.
84. Okay.
And the Victory Tour.
These are two from the 88 Bad Tour. You've got the Michael Jackson jacket.
83.
Sold for $302, and then an unopened Pepsi can from Japan with the Michael Jackson on the can sold for $202.
That's kind of cool. The Japanese can. Yeah.
All right. All right. We got more cool stuff. We have got, this is crazy, Marvel Unleashed poster print signed by Stan Lee and dozens of other comic artists. Look at this. There's got to be 200 comic artists that have signed this.
It's cool that there's remarks on there.
Adam Hughes. There's tons, bro. I mean, you name it, they're on there. Look at all these artists. They're all big artists. I mean, there's tons of them.
Man, that's incredible.
Right?
I saw Liefeld's signature on there.
Todd Knock.
Is that Jim Lee on the side there?
Yep. Ed McGuinness, Joe Rubenstein. I mean, you just got tons. They're
What did
everywhere.
it sell for? 500
bucks, bro.
Wow.
500
What?
bucks.
I mean, and look at some of those names. Could you imagine just the hours of waiting in line for some of those signatures?
Dude, this is crazy.
That guy paid them to take it.
Yes, you're right.
If he only made $1,
right.
if he only paid $1 an hour to make that, he lost money.
Yep. Why would you do that? It's probably got to be like they got it in a what do they call that? A state
An
sale
auction.
or something? Yeah.
Or an auction.
State sale. Well, they sold it for someone clearly by the name Slaughterhouse Auctions or whatever, Slaughter County, whatever the fuck.
Oh, okay.
So I would say they sold it for a collector.
Yeah.
Also, like, I would doubt with that low of a feedback they're much of a comic dealer. I don't know.
It's crazy.
What do you mean you only got 500 for it? You motherfucker!
This is a cool book. Check this out. Star Wars Fan Club Special.
Yeah, I love that cover, man.
Signed by David Prowse. Sold for $1,000.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
That's a good buy, dude.
Yeah.
You fucking built 3PO, dude.
This is cool. I wish I would have seen this. So it just says original comic art interior pages. Dude, are you kidding me?
Christ, dude.
Are you kidding me?
Hey, look at the what's the percentage on that feedback?
Dude, the Phoenix is there.
Oh my god.
Eternity, Silver Surfer, Guardians of the Galaxy number 35, great page.
Ooh, feedback of 5 too, though.
Yeah.
85 and 85% positive. It's probably because they didn't ship this.
Yeah, right. Right.
Man, go to his feedback and say, "Didn't get my art."
I don't know why these are selling for so much. They're called Rubber Blanket, complete set of 3, and sample copies. They're sample. I don't know what these are. David Mazzucchelli, but they're selling for a lot. If anybody knows what these are, let me know. So, 1 and 2 have sample labels. It's weird. It's an old David Mazzucchelli book that he must have put out on his own or something. It says sample copies on them. So, $300 it sold for. All right. Startling Mystery Stories number 6 from 1967, you guys. You guys know I love first appearances from creators. This has got the first published story of Stephen King in it.
Really?
Wow, that's pretty.
That's
fucking
dope.
cool.
It's called The Glass Floor. Is his first professional work. It sold for $325.
That's fucking cheap.
It's got writing in it. Somebody wrote excellent next to it because it was so good.
Nice.
Excellent.
Nice.
All right. This is so rare. I have to get one of these. So of course
And
you
it's
guys know.
Decapitated head cover too.
Yeah, you guys know how this works. We gotta go and
Put it on.
update. Yeah, we gotta go update the drive. So let's go do it. Let's see if he's there. He might already be there. Stephen King. Nope. Let's add him.
Did it say? Sorry, when you opened it, did it say? Stephen King?
Yeah.
Next to the excellent. Okay.
I said it right here. Startling Stories Mystery. Yep, and it says right here, Stephen King.
That's what I thought. One of the listings I just found for it, not on eBay, and there's none for sale. Just research listing. Does not say Stephen King. It does say H.P. Lovecraft.
Oh, that's weird.
It says and more. This is oof, yeah. But he was, what was his pen name? Richard Bachman.
Yeah, early on.
I don't know if he wrote anything else besides Richard Bachman, but
This is crazy, dude. This is so cool. So there we go. It is updated. You guys can find a link to the Beyond Wednesdays Comics Creators First list in the descriptions to everything I do. You can also find it on my bio. It's a living document. If you guys want to add stuff to it, you guys can put comments in here and I will update it. So there you go. Next, David Mack sketch cover, a 9/8 for $380. Look at this.
It's beautiful.
$380 for a David Mack sketch. Yep. Got his little.
Yeah, he's fucking flexing right there, bro.
Yeah, bro. All right. I'm going to piss everybody off. This is the first time I'm going to piss everybody off tonight. Star Wars Clone Wars rare newsstand comic lot. You got issue number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And these ones up here. They all say Star Wars Universe on the covers.
Wow.
Congrats, Andy.
$450, you guys. How does this happen?
I don't know, man.
How does this happen?
I don't know. Also, I feel like I've seen that lot sell before, but it could have been a very similar lot.
1,300 feedback.
Right? Like
no, I feel like I've seen the pictures. I'm not judging the seller.
Yeah, no, I get you, yeah. Wow, dude. Unbelievable. Congratulations. Next. Vintage Popeye comic book. That's all it says, from 1930s. It sold for almost $3,000. Is this the first appearance of Popeye?
Or Jeep, maybe. I'm not sure. I just can't remember offhand.
Look at this. You know they just found it in a barn somewhere. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, what number is it?
It just says hold on, let's see here. It just says Popeye by Seeger, David McKay Company of Philadelphia. Popeye and the Jeep.
It doesn't show number on the.
No.
Bless you.
Popeye by Seeger. That's all it says.
So the character first appeared on January 17th, 1929 in the Daily King feature comic strips.
Right.
Thimble Theater.
But that's a comic
strip. Yeah.
That's whatever it is a big deal. It sold for a lot.
I've seen it, dude. It might be first Jeep. I'm trying to remember.
Early Popeye comic book, all original, complete, no missing pages, minimal wear. Popeye and the Jeep by Seeger, David McKay Company. Early artwork. Wow. Check this out. This is a cover, another one of those covers that gets no love, and it should. Wolverine number 24 is such a cool cover, dude. Jim Lee. Yeah. Just beautiful. And you can get a 9/8 signature series with the Wolverine label for less than $500, $330. This is cool. Batman Dance. It's a Bill Graham. It says Batman Dance, Bill Graham, Quicksilver Messenger, 1966 handbill. It's from a poster from an old show, I guess, that Bill Graham did, I guess. Bill Graham Presents. Put on a poster. Put on a show. But look at this, dude.
That's crazy.
I think I've talked about this before because it looks familiar. Sold for $543. Next. Is this where Star Killer got its start? This is from 2013, Phantom Star Killer Ghoul Warrior San Diego Comic-Con DKE Toys edition of 25. Killer Toys.
You might be right.
Yeah, this might be the original custom figure that it got its start from.
Oh, from Schmalky?
No, I think.
Oh, because didn't he base it off of something else? Oh, yeah, where it was like a custom figure, right?
Yeah, this is the custom figure. Yeah, I think this is the original.
Might be
$542. Killer bootlegs, limited to just 25 pieces, released during the 2013 San Diego Comic-Con. Hand painted. All right, I'm going to piss everybody off again. Pretty roughed up Nintendo Power there. Sold for $149. But this one's special.
Oh, Jesus. It's the sample copy. Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what we do here at the Market Report. $149.
Just piss people off.
We got another edition coming up here to the Beyond Wednesday's Comic Creator First List. This isn't it, though. This is a 1942 comic about the Minuteman Answers the Call. It's a Golden Age promo comic talking about the Revolution. Sold for $200. So.
You have to know on that shit, dude.
Yeah, right.
Like if I saw it old for $5 at a antique store or whatever,
yeah,
I'd probably go for it. I'd have no idea what it was worth, but
how about this one? Mickey Mouse Null Number from Germany, 1951. Sold for $5,000.
Wow.
That's the reprising that what's that cover with where they're in an airplane
and they're throwing out the drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this, man. $5,000. Don't worry, there's more. Here it is. Another addition.
L. Ron Hubbard.
To the creator first. We got to find the first published work of L. Ron Hubbard. The guy who was the smartest man in history, in the modern history, because he successfully created a religion during modern times, which is pretty damn hard. If you want to make money, just create a church. And he did it.
Sure did.
That controls all the celebrities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
L. Ron Hubbard right there. Look at that, man. So I'm trying to find out his first published work. This is from 1936. If there's any Scientologists out there hanging out at Clearwater, go look in your archives and tell me the first published work of L. Ron Hubbard. I want to know it. This one sold for $177. All right. Speaking of Zelda, one of the coolest things ever is when GameCube came out and they came out with that new Zelda game, the Wind Waker. You could buy the GameCube, and waiting for that, you could get this special promotional disc that had all the 4 original Zelda games on it, including, I think, the Game Boy game. But then you could also get this, which had Ocarina of Time and a never before released Ocarina of Time Master Quest. These 2 games are so tough to find, unscratched up. I bought them back on eBay at the time, like 5 years after, and I went through multiple ones just trying to find a regular non-scratched up copy. I got to find it, but these are super cool games. Sold for $416 for the lot of 6 of these. And finally, you guys, the ultimate ticket sales. Check this out.
The Lincoln Memorial will get a major upgrade that will include a new museum beneath the monument and other improvements that are part of about
this isn't it. Hold
69.
Hold on. Sorry. This is it. A pair of tickets were sold by Remarkable Rarities by a Boston-based auction company that sold for $262. They were a pair of front row tickets from the theater performance that President Abraham Lincoln was watching when he was shot in 1865.
Get the fuck out of
Holy
here,
shit,
bro.
Dude, I ain't buy any of this shit.
Bro, if cards and memorabilia are selling for millions, there is no way that these should have sold for only $260,000.
Bro, that is like a unicorn of unicorns, bro.
That's the ultimate ticket sale right there. There's no greater ticket stub than this.
You can't, I mean, I can't imagine it only going for that amount, dude.
It's because it wasn't DNA certified with blood.
No
you know
shit.
what I mean?
Like I wonder if they were like graded by PSA or JSA, if they would have commanded a higher premium.
Bro, Richie told me about
like,
this.
how does this not go through Heritage or?
Yep. When Richie told me about
amazing.
this, Richie was like, "There's no way that these should have sold for anything less than $1 million." I'm like, "Yeah, bro."
Goodness. I mean, that needs to be put in a museum, bro.
Yes, museum should have been winning this auction.
Well, don't they have like auctions specifically for like museums and stuff like that?
Christie's,
where it's like, where they sell like historical items like this all the
Christie's.
time.
So these
Is it
originally
Christie's?
sold
Christie's,
at these originally sold at Christie's in 2002. They sold for $83,000 in 2002.
So where did it? Who sold it now for that 250?
That's a great question.
That 83 grand in 2002 sounds low.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, Lincoln, bro. I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
Too
It's
soon,
like
bro.
finding
They still wanna
Jesus
sell
the
it.
sandals, man.
Dude,
you know,
it's just too soon. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't want to be disrespectful and just put it on eBay after he just died.
yeah, no kidding, right?
You know, I don't know if there are any like yellow label Abraham Lincolns out there or not, but they'd just be in poor taste to already be throwing them on fucking eBay.
Bro, I'm getting John Wilkes Booth to sign mine.
I mean, Topps probably bought it anyways, and they're just gonna
cut it up and put it in cards.
Cut signature cards.
Yeah.
I got the 4 theater card, 1 of 1.
Good shit. That is the market report, ladies and gentlemen, for October 11th, 2023.